If you're running a modern healthcare clinic, you know this reality. You feel like you're standing at a crossroads, right? Caught between that passion that drove you into medicine in the first place and the just overwhelming pressure of running a business. It can feel less like a breakthrough and a lot more like a breaking point. So let's get right into it.
And this quote, well, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? This whole idea that you can just be a fantastic clinician and the business side of things will magically take care of itself, it's a myth. And it's a myth that leads directly to inefficiency, to stress, and to total burnout. The truth is, your practice is a business, and it absolutely has to be run like one.
So, here's the real question for you. Do you feel trapped? You know, like you're constantly in a tug of war between your clinical duties, the work you actually love, and the demands of being a CEO, a role you probably were never trained for? This is the core conflict we're going to unpack right now.
And here's what's so important to understand. Your personal struggle, it's not happening in a vacuum. It's actually a symptom of a much, much larger crisis that's unfolding across the entire healthcare industry.
Let's just start with the human cost. I mean, look at this number. A staggering 50% of all healthcare workers are experiencing burnout. And we're not just talking about feeling tired. This is a deep, psychological exhaustion that leads to mistakes, to people quitting, and to the whole system suffering.
And a massive driver of that burnout, you guessed it, administrative overload. On average, physicians are spending nearly 6 hours every single day wrestling with electronic health records. That's time not spent with patients. It's time spent on paperwork. The financial fallout from all of this is just immense. We're talking about $150 billion with a B lost every single year because of system-wide inefficiencies. That's real money that clinics like yours are losing, making it that much harder to grow or even just to survive.
And this chart just lays it all out there, doesn't it? It's not just the 3.5 hours of EHR work during the day. It's the 2.5 extra hours that are bleeding into your nights and your weekends. That's time that should be for your family, for rest, for you. This is exactly how burnout takes over your life.
And while you're getting bogged down in all that admin work, a whole new threat is showing up. These retail and tech giants, they're moving into healthcare, and they are changing the rules of the game. You've got Amazon focused on speed, CVS building this all-in-one ecosystem, and Optum just leveraging its massive scale. They're all thinking like businesses, and independent clinics really can't afford not to.
So the big question is, how do you respond to all of this? Well, the answer isn't just a new piece of software or trying to work even harder. It's about a fundamental shift in your perspective. It's about shifting from a clinician's mindset to a CEO's mindset.
Let's just look at the difference here. The clinician-first mindset, well, it kind of avoids the business stuff, and that leads to stalled growth and chronic stress. But the CEO mindset, it embraces proactive planning and, crucially, delegation. And the result of that? Sustainable growth, a lighter workload, and a much healthier bottom line. Which side of this slide feels more like your reality right now?
You know that feeling of being completely drained at the end of the day? It has a name: decision fatigue. Every single choice you make, from a patient diagnosis to ordering office supplies, it drains your mental energy. And when that energy is gone, your ability to make smart, strategic decisions for your business just plummets. It's not a personal failing. It's a known business challenge.
So how do you fight that fatigue and actually make the shift to a CEO mindset? Here's the secret. You can't do it alone. You need a partner. And I don't mean another employee to manage. I mean a virtual partner, one designed specifically to take that administrative load right off your shoulders.
And the path forward is actually clearer than you might think. First, you pinpoint exactly where your time and money are leaking away. Second, you systematically delegate those tasks to a trained medical virtual assistant. Third, you get to reclaim your focus for the work that truly matters. And finally, you use all that new bandwidth to accelerate real sustainable growth. Okay, but this isn't just some theory, right? Let's take a look at how this transformation actually plays out in the real world for clinics that are probably a lot like yours.
Let's start with a group practice out in Denver. You know, their biggest problem wasn't patient care. It was a chaotic revenue cycle that was absolutely crippling their cash flow and stressing out their entire team.
So before, they were just drowning in denied claims and their staff was buried under billing calls. It was a mess. But after delegating their revenue cycle management to a virtual assistant, their first pass claim rate shot up by 25%. Their staff was freed up, and here's the kicker. Revenue jumped 15% in just 6 months. All right, now let's look at a different story. A solo practitioner in Austin.
It's a classic situation, a brilliant clinician on the fast track to complete and total burnout just because of the sheer weight of all the administrative work. She was spending over 2 hours every single night on her EHRs, just missing out on her life. By offloading that work to a medical virtual assistant, she instantly got back more than 10 hours a week. She got her evenings back, and you know what came with them? Her passion for her practice.
And for our last example, let's look at a multi-specialty clinic down in Miami. They were spending a ton of money on marketing, but their schedules were still full of empty slots. They had what we call a leaky patient funnel, and they just couldn't figure out why.
So the problem was intake. They were losing 4 out of every 5 potential patients because phones went unanswered or the booking process was just too frustrating. By bringing in virtual assistants for 24/7 patient support, they plugged that leak. Patient conversion went through the roof, and their schedules have been consistently full ever since.
These stories, they show what's really possible when you stop trying to do everything yourself. This is about more than just being efficient. It's about truly transforming your practice and, let's be honest, your life.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Are you ready to make that shift, to finally step out of that day-to-day grind and truly lead your practice instead of just letting it run you into the ground?
If the answer is yes, then the next step is actually really simple. Schedule a free consultation to see for yourself how a medical virtual assistant from Virtual Nexgen Solutions can be your partner in this transformation. Just visit the website or send an email to the address on your screen. It is time to go from burnout to breakthrough.